am back with my next update on my pregnancy for this wonderful, fun pregnancy vlog. I've been so excited and looking forward to doing it, and I'm trying to get this in before I have to go with work with my next client. So anyway, I am on week 14. Oh my goodness, this is the beginning of the second trimester. And again, like I said in the last video, it feels like it's been crawling, so I just can't believe I'm finally in the second trimester. But it still feels like I'm so early on. It's like 14 weeks. It just doesn't sound very far along to me. But a lot has happened. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to begin. So I met with my midwife for the first time yesterday. She was super sweet, and I listened to the heartbeat again, and I actually recorded the heartbeat, which I would play for you guys, but it's on my phone, and my phone I actually use as a part of my recording. It's like a little trigger that triggers the camera. So I can't play you the heartbeat right now, but maybe next time I will, because it's just so cool. I had already heard it though, so I actually recorded it for my husband because he had never heard it. So he was pretty, excited when he finally heard it, and it was really fast. It was like 158 BPMs, beats per minute, which the wives' tale would say that means it's a girl, but the midwife was like, no, it's just a wives' tale. You can't tell from that. So I was like, okay. Okay, so let's see. The midwife appointment went really well. They did my little protein test in the urine, and it pretty much didn't have any protein in it. They said they saw like a trace of it, but not anything that would, she said, oh, that's normal. I mean, honestly, she looked at the color. If it was anywhere near green, that means you have like a trace in the mouth. And I looked at it, it looked yellow to me. Yellow means like no trace. And she says, well, I see a slight bit of green. I was like, so it was pretty much no protein in the urine, which I actually, I'm not sure exactly. She told me if you have protein in your urine, it has to do with gestational diabetes, I think. And then there's another, she told me there was one other thing that has to do with that. I can't remember right now. But anyway, so that was in the clear. And what else? So they just did, they measured my uterus, and everything was growing to the right length. My uterus has grown to the area it's supposed to have grown to, which is really cool. And I just talked about my symptoms with them. There was a nurse and a midwife, and the midwife is actually a nurse too, but they have like a separate nurse that does dietary stuff with you. And it was so funny because I had to fill out my 3-day dietary list of what I had been eating so they can analyze whether I'm doing a good job at my food. And I felt so bad as I was writing it because I knew it had things that probably look like I eat really junky. And in the big picture of my life, I've been such a healthy person, and everything's organic and all this stuff. But I had like pizza on there, and I had a quesadilla. But it's like I do like a spelt tortilla, and I do organic sour cream. But still, the nurse was like, well, you have a lot of bit of dairy in your diet, and so I'm going to cut it out for the next 2 weeks. I was like, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm like, oh my goodness, my dairy, I've cut it out before, but I really honestly don't enjoy cutting out dairy. I have done it for years, and I just don't feel as good when I don't have dairy. Now it's organic, and I don't drink milk, but still, I just don't feel as good. But I was just like, okay, because basically one of my symptoms has been the pregnancy rhinitis, where you feel like you're stuffed up at night, and I get headaches sometimes, and I've had to take Tylenol, which I feel really horrible about because in some herbal books it says don't even take Tylenol. I know it's a drug that they approve during pregnancy, but I still would like to not have to take it if I don't have to. So she said she thinks it's because of the cheese, which I kind of knew in the back of my head. So we'll see if I really can do without the cheese. Because then it means I have to eat, which I like, like beans and nuts. But it's hard when you have a family and they're eating one thing, and it's challenging to then have your own meal. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll just cut it down. And then what else? She said I need to put more vegetables in, which is So funny too, because I always make sure I put vegetables in at least several times a week, but I think the days that I wrote down, it wasn't as obvious. Like one day I had a salad on the side, and one day I had like pea protein, which maybe she didn't realize. I mean, that is, I won't know. I guess, well, is that considered a vegetable? Beans? I don't know. Not really, I guess. I guess she was looking for more green vegetables, which I haven't been as good with. You know, I've been doing like salad, but not like broccoli and this and that. But last week, you know, I had, you know, stir fry with tons of veggies. So I don't know. You can't really, for me, I'm not the kind of person that you can take 3 days and say that's how I've been eating my whole time. But, you know, you know, I definitely should add some more so that maybe if I even take 3 days, no matter what, it looks like I'm eating vegetables every day. So I got to add more vegetables. I got to cut out dairy or cut down on dairy. And I weighed myself. Okay, so here's the big weight thing. I had been weighed a few times in a couple of my prenatal appointments at the clinic, health clinic, and I never wanted to know. I think I said that last week. I didn't want to know because I feel like I've been eating so much. So she made me, the nurse this time made me weigh myself and write it down myself. I had a little book they have you write your weight in, and I was just like writing it. I was like, okay, I can handle this, whatever it is. But it turns out I gained 2 pounds, which is totally weird because I feel like my belly is kind of huge, and I'm eating so much, and I had cut out exercise. So I guess, I mean, that's on the first trimester, you really don't have to gain that much weight. So I gained 2 pounds. So I was like, I was pretty surprised, and you know, I was like, oh, okay. So, and then I actually went. Okay, so let's see what else happened at the midwife place. Okay, so they measured me. We got the heart rate. We talked about any of my symptoms. Okay, so let's get into the symptoms, okay, because that's what we all, you know, have. We all are sharing. Some of us have weirder ones than others. Okay, so the pregnancy rhinitis is one of them. And then this week I started having some round ligament pain. Again, I think I brought that up in the last one, but it was worse this week. It was like really sharp little shooting pains. The midwife said wasn't worried about it. She suggested that I get chiropractic treatment, which I am not a fan of. I don't think a lot of women are a fan of. It's just, it feels scary when someone's going in there and going to your neck, you know. But I know a chiropractor that doesn't necessarily do a lot of cracking, so I may go to him because they recommended it. And then they also recommended that I told them I have some anxiety, so we'll talk about that. They recommended I do some prenatal yoga, which, you know, it's pretty expensive, the prenatal yoga classes. And there's only one near me, and it's like once a week. So I know there's some free prenatal classes online. I am going to post a link under this blog when I find it, because it looked like it had 10 to 15 to 20 minute yoga online that you can do to help stretch your round ligaments and to strengthen your body and at least feel like you're doing something and help with anxiety. Because I don't know about you guys, but I tend to have a lot of anxiety, and it seems to be exacerbated by this pregnancy, because I'm always concerned that when I feel something, that something's going wrong, which is torture. So that happened to me this week. I had one night this week where I was so worried because I went back to the gym. So I said, okay, I'm ready to go back to the gym. I saw my sonogram, the baby was moving, you know, I've heard the heartbeat a couple times, so I'm going to go back to the gym. And I was determined to do a lot less at the gym. So I went to the gym, I did the elliptical, and I did it for 20 minutes, and I did keep track of my heart rate. Your heart rate's not supposed to go above 140, and I kept mine about 132. So I'm doing it, and I realized I usually do the elliptical with the arms, and I realized, okay, I'm twisting my torso. I'm not going to use the arms. I'm just going to do it without the arms. So I'm doing it, and then I did really lightweight, like literally was taking, for biceps, taking a 5-pound weight and using my hands to you know, for 1 5-pound weight, using it for both my biceps. So basically it was like 2.5 pounds per arm, you know. I mean, that's really not a lot. I did push-ups. I worked out for quite a while. I think I was probably at the gym for about an hour. I mean, that's not that long, but it's a while when you're pregnant and you're tired, and you know, I hadn't worked out in a couple of weeks. I got back from the gym and I felt horrible. I felt like my pelvis was, I don't even know how to explain it. It felt aching. Not like I was having shooting pains or anything. It just felt like overly tired. I felt feverishly tired. I didn't have a fever, but I felt like I felt like I had a fever. And I just I felt terrible. And then I actually saw a little bit of discharge that looked like a little bit of a gelatinous consistency, which I'd never seen. And then of course, my silly hypochondriac style self goes online and it says, this could be the mucus plug, which keeps the baby in until it comes out. Then I read online that the mucus plug has actually got to be the size of a lime. Okay, but I was still freaking out because I'd never seen that, and I was feeling really bad. I had just worked out, and so I was literally up almost, several hours in the middle of the night, worried that I had messed up this pregnancy just from this one workout. Now, I normally in the past was taking herbs for anxiety, just because I'm a worrywart. And on the pregnancy, I can't take these herbs. They're not good for me while I'm pregnant. So I don't have that resource to lean on anymore. But it was terrible. I woke up my husband in the middle of the night and I said, I'm really scared. Are you sure I'm okay? Because he's kind of my sounding board. He's a really grounded person, and I'll just throw something at him. And he's really intuitive too. So he'll always know, no, it's fine. Or, yeah, I think you need to deal with this or whatever. So he was like, no, I know it's fine. You're fine. And then luckily the next day I spoke to my mother-in-law, who's a midwife, and she said, no, you're not going to have the mucus plug at this point that, coming out, and no, that's not what happened, and you just probably overdid it. So I seem to be one of those expecting moms that are very sensitive to working out. So I've decided I'm just going to do brisk walking. I'll walk for 45 minutes, and I don't think I'm going to do even weights. I mean, I did some squats in the last time I was there at the gym, and I did leg lifts. Maybe that's what did it, like lifting my leg and pulling up my pelvis or my hips, or I don't know, but it's just not worth it. And if I'm not getting that much weight, yeah, my muscle tone's not as good as it was when I was exercising, but it's, it's the sacrifice we make, and it's not worth the worry, and it's not worth maybe potentially causing some problems. So I'm just going to briskly walk. Swimming has been awesome. We went to the beach one day here. We're in Florida, by the way. We went to the beach and I went swimming, and that was like the perfect exercise. Oh my gosh, I felt so great. And I felt like I was sharing it with the baby. I was in the water and I was like, this is one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to take you to the beach and we're going to go swimming. I was talking to the baby. Not that it can hear me yet. I think it's not able to hear me until 5 months pregnant. But I'd still talk to it anyway. And I feel guilty calling the baby an it, but it's just really hard to figure out what to call the baby when they don't have a gender yet. And I call it little strawberry sometimes, but for whatever reason I end up calling it sometimes, which is another thing I got to tell you guys about. But first let me finish the thing about the beach. So that was a blast. I just, I was having so much fun floating, and I felt so great, and I was treading water and kicking my legs a lot, trying to get some exercise, and I swam a little bit. But I was actually in a beach where mostly people surf, and normally I'm a surfer. So it was really funny because the only place to swim, if you didn't want to get run over by a surfer, was where the surfers are all waiting for the waves. So I come swimming up, and there's all these people waiting on their boards, and they're all serious and waiting for waves. And I'm just there like with no surfboard swimming, kicking around, and these two guys looked at me and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is the only place I can swim, and normally I'm a surfer, so I'm still going to the same place where I normally go. And they just started laughing. So that was kind of funny. And then I went up to the actual front area of the beach where the waves were just crashing, and what I realized is, like, normally I'd be able to stand there and like let waves kind of splash on me, but it was a little bit of a hard impact on my belly. So I realized I actually can't even let waves hit my belly. That's feeling like I'm being punched in the stomach. So that was kind of all the things we have to change, that you don't realize you're gonna have to change, that are so subtle. It's really interesting. So anyway, now back to what I was gonna say about, what was it about? It was something with the working out. No, with the beach. I don't remember. What was I going to tell you guys? Oh well, you know what? That's another pregnancy symptom, which they say memory is affected, pregnancy brain. They actually have scientifically proven it's because the hormones really do affect your brain and your memory, and also lack of sleep. So I've had insomnia, by the way, another symptom all week. I wake up every day at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up for 2 hours, and sometimes it's for hunger, and I tried. I told the midwife, what do I do? And she said, well, eat protein before bed. And I've tried. She told me to do toast with peanut butter, not peanut butter, nut butter. I do almond butter because actually peanut can have some allergies to the babies, and I have noticed I have a headache when I eat peanut butter, so I'm doing almond butter. So I put it on some whole wheat bread, and she told me a banana, so I did that. Sure enough, lo and behold, I wake up at 2 in the morning again with a hunger pangs. It's insatiable hunger. So annoying, and I do it, and I just feel like, well, I gotta feed the baby. So I get up, and I feel like, okay, I guess I'm gonna get adjusted to this whole waking up at 2 in the morning thing. But it is annoying, and then I lie there for 2 hours. And I've looked on some of the message boards online on like what to expect when you're expecting in baby center, and it looks like it happens to a lot of us. And then the other thing is that my mind is spinning. So, I have so much on my mind. It's like I can't calm it down. And this wasn't really part of my my MO, my personality before pregnancy. So I don't know why I have suddenly an overactive mind, because it's not always just thinking about the pregnancy. I mean, it could be thinking about anything. And I'm not that comfortable. They told me to use a body pillow, so I started using a body pillow this week to so that my knees, because I'm sleeping on my side now that I'm in the second trimester, and even before that I was trying to get used to it. And I don't like sleeping on my side at all. I put the pregnancy pillow in there, and it's just so strange for me. I'm like hugging this pillow, and I just, it's not natural for me. So, so all these things, are probably keeping me awake at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I go downstairs and I get, another piece of bread with some almond butter, or I use these like flax flake cereal. It's made of flaxseed, and I just use almond milk, and I eat it up real fast and then try to go back to bed. So yeah, man, it's rough. So yeah, I feel like this week a lot happened. Like I had so many symptoms, and I'm still having dizziness. When I stand up or when I'm walking around, my blood pressure was actually pretty low, but they said that's normal. When I went to the midwife, she said, that our blood vessels are opening, we're creating more blood, and we're just gonna get dizzy spells. So luckily I haven't, fainted or anything, though I have felt like I'm going to sometimes. So that's going on. And then, man, not to get all negative, but when you're a pregnant mother, those motherly instincts really start to kick in, like protecting your baby. And this whole Ebola thing in the U.S. right now is crazy. It's not just in the U.S. now. It sounds like it's going to Europe too. And I'm not a fear monger, and I don't normally buy into propaganda and being afraid, and but it just seems like very strange, and all these cases are popping up randomly, and it is a concern. It's been in the South. I live in the South of the United States, and it has been in the South, and somebody just died in Georgia from it. So it's got me thinking, okay, I got to do some immune boosting stuff, especially while I'm pregnant. And the thing is, normally a lot of the stuff that I would take, natural stuff that I would take to defend against the Ebola stuff, is not able to be taken during pregnancy. So that's kind of another thing that maybe I'm thinking about waking up in the middle of the night. I'm starting to think I need to stock up some extra water in case there's, an outbreak. I don't know. It's like I've been watching way too much Walking Dead. I don't know if you guys know that show. I probably watch way too much Walking Dead, which makes me feel like, oh my gosh, it could be a reality that, we'll be fending for ourselves. So I started drinking ginger tea, which is allowed during pregnancy, and that's to boost my immune system, vitamin C. What else? I'm just gonna do as many herbs and things that I'm allowed to do during pregnancy. I was listening to this little course about how to protect and shield yourself. And it was talking about basil too, and I have a basil plant, so that's really awesome. And garlic, and I have garlic supplements, and it talks about oregano oil, which I have oregano oil. I'm kind of a pseudo herbalist. I didn't train or anything, but I've been so into it for so many years that I have a lot of knowledge about naturopathic. Oh my gosh, there's my dog. I'm so sorry. I have a lot of knowledge about naturopathic medicine and herbs and stuff like that. So it just so happens I have all these herbs that can protect my family from Ebola if somebody got it. But, you know, it's pretty intense. So it makes me wonder where I can buy one of those suits that they wear. You know, the suits that they wear to protect themselves. I don't mean to make it a joke, but it's people will probably think, you know, some people listening to this video will think, well, you're paranoid, and but the thing is, I don't know, I'm normally not about this stuff. I'm normally like, oh, the news is trying to get us to be fearful, don't worry about it. But this one kind of rubs me the wrong way. It feels a little strange, like something's going on that hasn't happened before, you know, in terms of, I don't know, I don't want to get into all the conspiracy theories, but something's going on, guys. I don't know. So anyway, protect your babies, protect yourselves. This weekend, me and my husband are going to upload a video for the part of this video log that's called Rock Out with the Elmores. So it's kind of going to be like not a daily video log, but maybe weekly video logs of just fun things in our life. I don't know if I told you guys last week, but I'm not only a counselor, but I'm a musician. So that's why it's Rock Out with the Elmores. My husband and I are both musicians. So we'll be like showing you our adventures of what it's like to be a family and be musicians. It's definitely a different type of lifestyle, not in a rock and roll, like, oh, doing drugs or anything like that, but just, you know, when you're a creative, wacky person, your life is a little different, you know. The things you talk about are different. The way you express yourself is different. So anyway, thanks for those that are starting to watch and connect here. Much love to you guys. I hope your pregnancies are all going really well. Please post here anything that you want to share about like tips or natural medicines or your symptoms. Let's connect here and just support each other. And I love doing these vlogs. It's been so much fun already. And I think that's all. I think there's no other symptoms, like I haven't shared enough. I think there's no more symptoms that I had this week. So now, it's time for the belly shot. Now the belly, to me, looks smaller than it does last week. So maybe I was just bloated, I don't know. But I'm gonna show you my belly, and you can see where I'm at now with my 14-week belly. All right, 14 weeks, here we go. Oh man, it's kind of, it looks a little shabby to me. It's not really looking too popped out, but you know, it is. Oh, there we go. You can see it a little bit. There we go. Oh, I see it. Okay, because I have a little viewer over here. Here is my belly, a 14-week belly. So, yeah, guys, being pregnant, very interesting. Oh, now I remember what I was going to tell you guys. I got to tell you guys this last thing. I had this really strange experience this week because somebody told me, they used the word host. They told me I'm a host to this baby, which, what does that make you think of? It makes you think that a host usually has a parasite. So, okay, you can't think of your baby as a parasite, right? But essentially, a parasite is something that just takes from you and doesn't give back. Now, this baby's going to give back, right? It's going to give back for years and years after the delivery. But for now, isn't it true that maybe it is just a parasite and I'm a host? This baffled me. This made me freaked out a little bit. Like, oh my gosh, there's just something living off of me in here, and you know, it's my baby, and of course I love it, but if I really thought about it, I started kind of feeling like I was in the movie Alien. I really did. Oh, and then the other final last thing that I can't believe I almost forgot to share you guys, with you guys, I had little butterfly flutters in my belly. I felt the baby. Yes, it was so exciting. I just knew it was the baby. I felt it. I was sitting there. It was kind of, I think it was in the early evening, and I'm sitting on the couch. I think I had just eaten something, and then suddenly I felt this like little flutter right in the center of my belly. And then when I looked online, what it feels like when you're early on and you feel the baby, that's what it said. So Baby is a playful little butterfly. All right, that's all. See you guys next week. We'll be doing a video this weekend. Much love. Have an awesome weekend, and get lots of water. Stockpile your water, okay? I'm not a prepper, but I might be becoming one. Okay, bye-bye.